Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Rex, and this is a day full of drinking whiskey on camera, and I am so hungry right now.
We're gonna shoot this, and then we're gonna go shoot Tribe, and there's gonna be a whiskey involved in both.
There's gonna be so many
whiskeys
on an empty stomach.
Yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting day.
Yeah, is Brandy gonna come pick you up?
Oh. Okay.
Oh, is she not going to pick you up anymore? Okay, by the way, I had a weird text conversation with your wife.
We'll save that for the relevant episode.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got?
Okay, so this is a Danish whiskey from Emil Lund.
Oh.
Magnificent bastard.
Emil, wait, I don't have, we got to figure.
You don't have anything.
I need
Wave an empty bag or a mini.
Emil Lund, you magnificent bastard! What did I just pull out, by the way?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of minis that people have sent for various reasons.
All right, this has a 2. If you know what's up, let me know.
Look at this. Award-winning Danish spirits.
Okay.
Danica. Or Danica? Danica? I don't know what's the correct pronunciation. It's Danish, so who knows?
Danica Kirkpatrick. Isn't that like a NASCAR race?
Do what?
I think Danica Kirkpatrick is a NASCAR driver from several years ago.
Sure.
I don't know anything about NASCAR. I may be making that up.
So this is from Braunstein Distillery in Denmark. Distance yourself. This is their peated release. So they are a microbrewery / distillery in Denmark, and they do a whole bunch of different spirits.
Okay.
But they also do whiskey, and the malting for their whiskey malt.
The glass was out here.
Yeah.
And I still got a
It smells good.
really present nose.
I was
Just
gonna
from
say
this distance right here. It was waving it around and then whoa.
the malt comes from Port Ellen Maltings in Scotland.
Oh, we like Port Ellen.
Well, it's not the whiskey. It's the malt grain, the barley.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the peated barley, the peated malt, comes from the Port Ellen Maltings.
No, that's beautiful.
It smells so good, and there is that present, it smells almost briny. Like it smells like an island.
I'm going to start with the dominant nose, like on the sweeter end of the spectrum, right? And this is like a rosy, kind of sweet rose. I keep wanting to say rose water. I don't actually know what rose water is. I think this smells like what I think. Do you?
I do.
What is it?
It's sold in sprays too, like in little quiche French shops.
Yeah. This is what I think rose water
sheets.
should smell like, but I don't think I've ever actually had experience smelling rose water.
Yeah. No, I think you're accurate. Rose water smells exactly what you would think rose water would smell like. It smells like roses tamed down to a really mild, light, almost spring-like scent.
Yeah, spring, fresh, floral. There's none of the vegetation that comes with like a wildflower type of floral.
No, it's not green vegetation. However, there is some musty peat notes in there that are not barbecue and not smoke, but they're rich. That's why I said almost briny.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Talisker.
Almost briny.
Dark Storm.
Threatening to get a little bit earthy, but it didn't quite get there.
Maybe Bamor small batch?
I don't know, but it's really nicely balanced.
It's beautiful nose.
Like the sweet end of the spectrum, and then you got like kind of like this, you got, I don't know if musty may be too strong of a word. It's not quite musty, but the peat smoke, and it barely reaches the criteria that I would consider needed to be called smoky. It's like it's little piece of.
It's a hint.
It nipped the little edge of smoke. Just slip that nip right in there.
It tastes like thin honey water, and then smoke.
The smoke shows up a lot more on the taste.
Yeah, but it lost all the depth that I thought the nose was going to provide. Like it's thin.
Well.
You know what I mean? Like from the nose, I was expecting this really rich, oily mouthfeel.
The floral note, like the rose water, I guess, notes. You're prepared for that. You're ready for that. You're looking forward to that. Then you get into it. I was like, well, that's barely showing up. What does show up at a surprisingly robust level, more so than you would expect. It's beyond just a little nip in the slip there. It's beyond that. A little nip in the smoke slipped in there. It's beyond that. It's borderline smoky now. Like I could taste this, not smell it, taste this, and say this could be considered a smoky whiskey.
Yeah, I agree, but it's still way less oily than I would have ever imagined. It tastes thinner.
What is the proof?
42.
That seems about right.
Yeah, but
I think there's a lot of this flavor that's wanting to come out, but it's not going to happen at the low 40s.
Yeah, but I've had Islas that are bombastic at 40.
Do we know the age?
No, a couple of years, I think. But I'm interested into how they're doing their cuts. The nose is amazing. This would be a beautiful whiskey if it tasted like it smelled. Instead, it tastes like a friendly, kind of lightly spring sweet, ashy.
Ashy and then...
Yeah.
Not meaty, not savory.
No.
Not that end of the peat spectrum at all.
No, it's definitely ashes. Yeah. Like, every once in a while, so... I know what cigar ash tastes like. It reminds me of that a little bit.
Why do you?
Because every once in a while, in the dark, hanging out with friends, you set your cigar down on the ashtray, and wind or somebody bumps something and it rolls into the ashtray, and you pick it out and you try to flick off the mouth end a little bit, but it's collected ashes.
Right.
And so then you put it in your mouth, and your first draw, you're like, oh, yeah, I didn't get it all off. Oh.
That's when you dip it in the whiskey.
Yeah, then you just have ash floating in your whiskey. Now that's when what you do is just take a little water bottle and just kind of dust it over really quick.
Amateurs.
But that's what it reminds me of. Cigar ash.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit more time, a little bit more higher proof, and I think this has the potential to be really nice. Right now, it's still nice, don't get me wrong. We're grading on the curve of expectations, I think. I think if we just went into this without nosing it, we'd be like, oh, this is nice. You got like some smoke character, you got some sweet elements in there. It's like a nice little balance between friendly and something with a little bit, doesn't get aggressive peaty though. Something with a little bit not made for complete novices.
Yeah.
Peat smoke, more often than not.
A little more complex.
Yeah, a little bit more complex there.
I
didn't like it. I was prepared to love it.
Wait, those are old comments, I think.
Burko Baggins.
You left them. I think those are the new ones.
Nicholas James Neher
Neener pumpkin eater.
Man, I mean, what compels you? Really, let's just camp out here. We'll get to the comments. What compels you to trot out these ridiculous little sayings?
Like, what's the plan, Jan?
You mother... Oh my God. Oh, it's too early in the day, man. It's too early. You can't. And I can't. See, the social distancing, my go-to move, like the low-hanging fruit, just close the distance. Close the distance, hover, get right in his little bobbity face, and he just shrivels up.
Why the malice, Alice? The face.
You want to come at me? Is that what's happening? You want to throw?
Why so uncomfortable?
No,
Jeff?
you can't.
That one didn't work.
That was actually the best one you did so far.
Oh, okay.
Nicholas, do you lose flavor drinking out of a rocks glass? I'm going to smoke a cigar tonight with some scotch, but I feel like my Glencairn glass doesn't have the same manly feel meant for cigars. So he's specifically asking about flavor.
Yeah, so I was going to say two things. One, I get the feeling of wanting a hefty glass sometimes. Right. I totally agree. I don't know that it's a manly thing. It's just, sometimes you just want something that you know if someone came at you, you can take them with it. And Glencairn is not going to do that.
Kind of need a rocks glass right now.
Yeah.
Feel like I need a rocks glass.
You need a rocks glass. Anyway, anyway, it's just a hefty thing. But here's why, yes, it does change how it tastes. But it's not because the glass shape changes the taste. It's because the glass shape changes what you smell.
Right.
And smell is most of taste. And so if you alter what you're smelling, you alter the actual flavor profile of the whiskey by eliminating or burying some things and highlighting some others. So the whiskey will absolutely alter. It won't make it worse or better. it will just make it different
Now,
than you're used to.
if you're actually using a rocks glass to put ice in, then that's going to have even more of an effect than the glass.
But even if you're drinking it neat, like if you go to a whiskey bar, even a fancy whiskey bar that doesn't know Glencairns, we have a couple of bars in Austin that are really great whiskey selection, but have never even heard of a Glencairn.
Sure.
I find it kind of annoying. But they'll serve it in a really nice, like crystal etched, hefty, and it'll be a neat 2-ounce pour. And those are nice, but I always miss being able to really smell the whiskey.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just need a little bit of ice in there. Mm-hmm. Like I have more rocks glasses in my house than I do Glencairns. Mm-hmm. There's some.
I think that's true of most humans, other than the whiskey people in our community.
Yeah. And what Glencairns I do have totally didn't come from our bar.
Bastard.
It's Jacob Cox. When trying a new whiskey, what is a good meal to eat beforehand? Do you consciously eat something that isn't going to hinder the taste of the whiskey? Or do you eat something that you know will make the whiskey taste better for you? That's an interesting question. Beyond just a meal.
Yeah.
Right? Name any meal. There's so many different ways. Like, do you have more garlic than usual in that carbonara? I just said a word. I don't even know if it has garlic.
Yeah.
If it's an Asian meal, is it spicier than the version? So I think there's so many different variations to that answer. I don't know if you can give a rule of thumb.
I will say, not that there's a rule of thumb. I do have one actual rule of thumb, but the only time I ever really think about food before whiskey is if I go to a whiskey tasting where they're serving food.
Right.
And I do want something in my stomach.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about ruining my experience that I'm about to have. And in those, I just stick to plain carbs or starches, breads, crackers, low flavored protein, like a steak that only has salt and pepper, but not like a hefty sauce or anything.
Yeah.
And potatoes and basic vegetables. They're all kind of like plain starches where the most flavor you're getting is like salt and butter. And those tend to be just fine if you wait a half hour.
If I had to invent a rule of thumb, for me, it would come down to, is it the kind of meal that would kind of stay with you and leave like an aftertaste? Like barbecue, that stays with you.
Yeah, it lingers.
You can taste that for hours. Coffee, if you're doing like some black coffee, you can have some lingering aftertaste going on for a long time. Something really garlicky. Things that don't just stay with you, they just kind of, they eat them and then you're pretty soon, it's just out of the equation. I'm more comfortable feeling like I'm getting the true representation of the whiskey after those kinds of meals.
Just plain lettuce. That sounds terrible.
I'm not that serious about my whiskey tasting. I'm going to eat. I mean, we've been to like fancy tastings with industry professionals.
Yeah.
And what do they have? Pizza.
Yeah, that's what happens when you let the catering venue just handle the food without talking to them beforehand. I remember that one we went to, and it was like, as soon as they walked in, you walk in and it's a whiskey event, but all you smell is pepperoni pizza in the whole room. It's like, son of a bitch,
no,
really?
You were annoyed. I was looking forward to the pizza.
Yeah, I was super annoyed, but the pizza was really good.
Right.
Which made it even more annoying.
But you do need, in an event like that, you should have food. This is a long episode. Here's Fighting, Stealing, and Drinking.
If you fight me, fight for a friend.
Steal me, steal your lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.